Alrighty, we are live. We are live once again. Welcome to the Low D Podcast exclusive content, which is actually free to subscribe. But anyway, I have done additional bases in my eyes, I know at least, and saxophonist UNT student Giant Boykin. So go ahead and tell the audience a short biography about yourself.
Well, sorry, I'm actually sharing the post. I didn't know it was going to be free for everybody.
It is going to be free. It's free.
Cool.
Yeah,
but not for
this
long.
one is
So get on Patreon.
not for long. No, yeah. The live version is free, but if you want to rewatch this, you have to subscribe. Which I'm about to change it. My saxophone covers to $2, and then the podcast content is going to stay at $5.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So if anybody who wants to just see my saxophone videos,
it's a burger a month. You can afford it.
Yeah, you can afford it. It's $2 a month. That's 2 McChickens at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm not worth 2 McChickens at McDonald's, then I'm doing something wrong. But if anybody new who hasn't seen any of my free exclusive podcasts, regular podcast called the Low D Podcast on Apple and Google Podcasts, which is free, totally free if you have those apps. But then I have exclusive content on my Patreon. Every once in a while, I release a free one. I think the last one I did was with Covenant. But it's where I bring on different artists, musicians, like anybody with a passion, basically, that wants to express himself and get them to know, especially during these COVID times that we're in. And now we're in snow times.
Yeah,
since
so
it's quarantine 2021, as I'm calling it.
They really stayed at home, didn't they?
Yeah, we are all locked in again. Like I went outside this morning to get my stand, and it's still snowing on the ground. I'm like, well, it's been like this for like at least 4 days now. So it feels like quarantine all over again. Like I'm back, doing covers and I'm doing more stuff. So I don't know if the world's trying to tell us something that we need to stay inside and not go outside because he keeps telling us to stay inside for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't know, but the COVID numbers are getting better. They're getting better. I heard.
Yeah, maybe this is like we needed.
At least in Texas, they're getting better. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into my first question. I usually have a set of interview questions. Okay. We might not get to all of them. I try to keep it at least 30 minutes. But hey, if we go to an hour, we go to an hour. My main goal is 30 minutes. Huh?
Did you want the bio? You just asked for a bio. I didn't know if you wanted me to finish that.
No. Short bio. Oh yeah, go ahead.
So I'm, like you said, professional musician. I'm attending the University of North Texas right now, getting my master's degree in jazz studies. I play saxophone mostly as my main instrument, but like you said, I also play bass and a couple of other things. So it's been doing that, and now that we're stuck at home, I've been trying my hand with video and jingle making, and I've just been doing everything, whatever makes a dollar right now. So, but the good news is it's fun. As long as I'm doing music, I'm okay.
Exactly. That's why we got into it in the first place.
Yeah.
But speaking of music, where's my I know I talked to you about it last night, but why is it taking so long to do my my for Fever? What's taking?
I completely forgot. Completely forgot. I will get that to you hopefully by the end of the day.
Like I was like, I really just wanted bass and clicks. I didn't really want keyboard because the original version really just had bass and having keys on it. I really wanted to have that just bass and saxophone. Like you don't hear that very often.
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
and then we have to remake it because copyrights. So, but anyway, let's go into my first question. What inspired you to start playing music in the first place? Like, what was it?
Well, like a lot of musicians, I grew up in the church. I grew up around gospel musicians of all calibers. I mean, people that had no clue about anything musical, but their ear was just so good to what they wanted to hear or what they wanted to play that they just got down and played it. I grew up with that. My parents are both musically inclined. My mom sings, and my dad's actually a sax player.
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, my dad was a sax player. He played in the army band and everything. So that influence of music was always around us. I mean, we were born into singing, and I say we, me and my sister, because she's also a musician. And it really started there. I can't give credit to anybody else other than when my parents raised me, and growing up in specifically the Black African American church, around gospel. And I actually started playing drums when I was really young. We're talking 2 years old was when I started music, and it was playing drums in the church.
Alrighty. Yeah, that's where most people start. A lot of famous musicians started in the church.
Yeah.
FYI. So, but yeah, I didn't know your dad was a saxophone player. So you had to become a saxophone player. It was just
you never
really
pushed me or anything, but like it was like, okay, dad
had
has
to a little bit.
Yeah, this is kind of cool.
I'm gonna push my kids. I know for sure. Like when I get the band, I'm like, you can play what you want. Like you can play the flute, clarinet, especially if I'm talking to my daughter. But I'm like, you've been seeing your dad play saxophones forever, and I brought them to gigs before. So
yeah.
So if one of them don't at least try to choose saxophone, I'll be heartbroken. Like, but I play keys and I play bass a little bit, just for writing stuff. But
yeah, knowing my luck, my kids will probably end up being brass players.
Right. Okay, that would be that's horrible.
Dad, I want to play. Whoa!
Yeah. Especially the trumpet, trumpet players.
I can deal with the trumpet. I can deal with the trumpet.
Man, we always competed with the trumpet players in high school. Like it's like they always get the main lines and the fun parts, and
it never stops. I'm gonna be honest with you.
And then the saxophone players are always too loud.
Yeah,
and we can't hear the rest of the band. But yeah,
sounds like the rest of the band these days.
Man, they got brass mouthpieces. They should be able to outblow us, but it's all saxophone quiet. She's playing too loud.
Yeah.
So you kind of answered two questions in one, because my next one will be like what inspires you to start playing, which is obviously your parents and stuff. When did you realize you want to take it to the next level, like professionally?
Oh, that's a good so music was always the thing, and it's kind of funny. I was one of those kids that never grew out of the wanting to be a firefighter stage.
Oh no!
I was maybe like in the 8th or 9th grade, and I will take that back. I had it in the 7th grade, up to the 7th grade, 6th or 7th grade. I had it written in stone that my career, my job was going to be first responder. I wanted to be a firefighter, and I thought it was really cool. It was really fun. Let me do this. And then I don't know if you're familiar with the Army ambassadors, jazz ambassadors, top Army band. They were doing this tour where they went to the small, hole in the wall towns of America and showing them big band jazz. And I was at the time in Ponca City, Oklahoma, which is a really super small town in Oklahoma. And that's where I graduated high school at. And they came to our middle school and did this whole concert. And they're like, hey, we're giving out free tickets. Everyone needs to get a ticket. And I was like, well, it's jazz. I want to come. And at this time, I hadn't been exposed to jazz music, but I had been exposed to music of all sorts. And so I was just heard jazz, and I'm like, well, I've got to go do this. I've already been playing saxophone for a year, and I love, playing. And I went and I watched them, and I mean, just impeccable. I had no clue that that's what a jazz band sounded like. And we got done. I found out the Barry player had written a bunch of the charts that they had played that night. And my parents came to me and they're like, "Hey, Giant, look, he wrote those charts and he's playing in the band. That's something you can do." And I was like, wow, I could be the one that they're like, he wrote this and he's playing in the band. That inspired me. But the biggest thing that was the thing where I was like, okay, this might be what I really want to do. But the thing that really told me what I needed to do was my sophomore year in high school or junior year. I'll say junior year just to be safe. Junior year in high school, I was on my computer and I would always constantly be watching videos of music throughout the day. So in class, when it wasn't time, if I'm not practicing or I'm not listening to a lecture, I had my headphones on and I was on YouTube looking at live performances. Nothing better than a live performance, people. Nothing better.
That's what some people forget. Like, I go back and watch like old live performances too. No matter who it is, could be Michael Jackson, could be Prince. It's like I learned a lot of what I do on stage myself, watching the greats, of course.
Exactly. So I was watching Marcus Miller. I don't know if you know who that is. He's a bass player.
Oh yeah, man. I had a chance to see him in LA last year. I didn't get a chance to.
That dude is so ridiculous, so ridiculous. And I was watching him, and he has a sax player with him. This young cat. I had no clue who he was, where he came from, but dude was killer, so good. And so he told me the name, or that he was introducing the band, and so I looked him up. His name is Alex Hahn, Alex Han. I don't know if you know who that is, but
I think I heard of him.
You've got to look this cat up. I looked him up.
It's a white kid, right?
Alex
Hahn, guy. I think
he's not anymore. He's like our age now.
Oh, he's our okay.
Yeah,
I might have heard him before.
Yeah, but the videos I was watching him in, he was literally like 20, 21, on stage, on tour with Marcus Miller. I looked him up. This dude was sponsored by Rico Reeds when he was 16 years old.
Jesus.
This dude got a full ride scholarship to Berklee College of Music. Gets to Berklee, and there's a thing at Berklee where the better you are, the less school you're actually going to stay. Like it's a thing. They don't want you to graduate from Berklee. They want you to go to Berklee, get picked up, and go off and do big things. And every year, his freshman year, he was there playing. Marcus Miller came to the school, heard him play, and was like, "Hey, I want you to come on tour with me." And I said, "No, I don't want to come on tour. I need to finish my education." The next year, Marcus Miller comes back. "I really want you to come on tour with me." "No, I'm going to get my education. I need to finish this." The next year, "I want you to come on tour." No, he turned him down 3 times.
3 times.
His senior year.
3 years. Senior year. Okay.
Yeah, his senior year, he walks across the stage, and the very next day is on a plane to Europe to tour with Marcus Miller.
Man.
And I into him, and I was like, okay, well, what degree did you get? What did you do to get so good? Because at this time I'm looking for schools, and I saw that he had a degree in saxophone performance, and I was like, well, that's it. That's what I'm getting my degree in, where I'm going. And that was, at that time I was like, I've got to go to Berklee. But yeah, this is my degree right here. This is it. I'm going performance. So.
But yeah, man, Berklee.
Yeah,
I'm just like, who was his private lesson teacher at like 12? Because he had to just like, you just don't get a Rico like was it the sponsorship?
Yeah, you don't.
Just out of nowhere.
It's not easy.
Who was his parents? Like, that's what it all comes down to about these talented kids. Like, who were their parents?
Yeah.
They had to like push him at a young age, very young age, to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because, man, I didn't find out about sponsorships until like 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but, I found out about them when I entered college because my professor, Dr. Roberts, is sponsored by Van Doren. I
don't play Van Doren Region no more.
I still do. I still like I'm very much for Van Doren. I've yet to really venture out and really try other ones, but to me, the ones that I've tried, not as Van Doren, they don't last as long, and I need longevity. I really longevity.
I remember back in college when I used to get the Van Doren like standard classics when I had to play like the classical pieces. I hated like 10 to those because you know I used to water them down, sandpaper them.
Yeah,
it was just a hassle to get them right, And then my private lesson teacher at the time at TJC was from UNT, Adam Myers. He had a performance and the master's in saxophone, and I know he had at least a bachelor's or master's in education.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like, every read in the box is not good. You have to find the right one. It was just a hassle. And then someone put me on to the ones I got now, which are the I can't even think of the name. The Leger reads.
Oh, Leger.
The plastic cover ones. I've been loving those ever since. But I mean, every once in a while, I still I have some of the old ones right here. The old Van Doren, but for soprano, because I have an old weird like off-brand soprano that I sent to the shop. But like I don't mind still playing the Java, but like as far as like the those Van Doren classics and the blue box, dark blue boxes, I think I'm over those for now.
Yeah, I mean the thing, reeds are all so different. So I mean that personal preference.
And there's one in the box I even tried. Now I saw it at the music store. It's a new brand, so I was going to give it a try out.
Have you tried the Boston Sax Shop?
Which one?
Boston Sax Shop has a new reed.
I haven't.
Everyone keeps talking about them, and I might just have to try it because of how much praise they've been getting. So
I might try it because I'm always down for trying new stuff. Right.
Oh yeah,
Okay, so other than Marcus Miller, who is some other musicians that inspire you?
Oh man,
that's my next question. See how I did that.
Anyone that knows me knows that I am a huge fan of the master tenor saxophonist John Coltrane. A huge inspiration playing wise. I love Michael Brecker, Cannonball Adderley. There's actually a cat in New York right now. He's probably my favorite living musician on the tenor saxophone. I'm drawing a blank. Oh my gosh. Jerry,
he's your favorite.
Yeah. I can't believe I drew a blank. I was looking at his name, but I couldn't remember it. His name is Jerry Weldon. He's a tenor sax player in New York. And he actually was a featured soloist for Harry Connick Jr. for years. And he's on the Harry Connick Jr.'s show. He's playing tenor saxophone there. And dude is just such a killer sax player. I could go on and on about the list of inspirations. Joe Henderson. And those are, I mean, most of these are just tenor sax players.
What about alto saxophone players?
Cannonball. I don't play alto sax that much.
There's one you're leaving out. And I was one person you leave it out. And I'm the reason you have to speak to him.
That's very true. Mr. Gerald Albright. No, Gerald Albright. Oh, man. I got to say, I grew up. And that Gerald Albright and Kirk Whalum were some of the first saxophonists that I was introduced to at a very young age. So if anybody really has an influence on me as far as the saxophone, it has to be those two cats right there. Just because they were, just the way they play is just inspiring. Kirk Whalum has been on everybody's record. He's done something with everybody. And Gerald Albright.
He was in Dallas not too long ago. I think last year. one of his last shows were in Dallas. Kirk Whalum.
Yeah, and he did a show at UNT.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, but I wonder how Gerald feels about that. You didn't leave him off the list. Let me go message him real quick.
Because I want to have a good conversation with him too.
Yeah, but I swear, but that's the first thing I thought about when I saw him. Because I was at NAMM last year. For anybody who's listening in, NAMM is basically Comic-Con for music nerds, basically.
Yeah, and honestly, kind of bigger.
And bigger, actually, yeah, bigger. There's so many floors. Like I was so ready to come back next year, but then COVID happened, and I'm like, oh no! Like the one thing I actually found, like I really want to, learn more about something I found that I could advance in, because at that point I thought I was stuck, in like a little musical, like, what can I do to, blast my knowledge? And then NAMM happened, and then I'm like, okay, well, this is something I know I can get more into. And like when I saw all the saxophones and all the brands, like I can just walk up and try any saxophone I want. And I'm like, bro, this is like saxophone heaven. And like I was like, I tried every single saxophone brand there. I spent the whole day, one day in that area. I didn't even go to I went to other floors, but I didn't get to experience like going to like the guitar brands and bass brands. I went to the pedals for a minute, but then you just all like everything music was there, like speakers, sound equipment, lighting equipment, like stuff I want to learn about, for because I run the sound in the band or in everything, but I was like, I want to learn more about sound, more about what better XLR cables to use, stuff like that, camera systems,
Yeah.
And like when I got to the Cannonball, I think one of the last ones I went to, because I tried to save it. I know you didn't want to tell me that's a really good brand to go to. I met the beatbox saxophone guy first.
Oh yeah, Derek Brown. He's actually
Derek Brown. You said he came to Tyler, and you had to show him around. He was really cool. Very excited person. Like he talks real fast and he's very energetic. That's one thing I can tell about him.
Derek Brown is exactly like the videos. Like there's no difference. Yeah. I was very shocked. I mean, when I picked him up, I was like, I was trying to get hello, Mr. Brown. I am your chauffeur. He comes up, he's like, hey, you're a giant. He's like, this is great. He's like 6'5", 6'6". And so he was like, this is great. I don't have to worry about a small car because you're tall too. I was like, yeah. I mean, we had a blast. We went to the Buc-ee's. He had never been to Buc-ee's before. And I mean, we had a blast. It was great.
He's real cool. And he loves Legier Reed's. Well, he was at the Legier Reed's booth.
Yeah. And for all that stuff that he does on his horn, he has to like Legier.
Oh, yeah. Like he basically like bashed every other Reed company there. So you gotta get these Reeds, like everybody else here is, I'm like he was downing like Van Doren and like some other ones that I had tried. Because I brought my mouthpiece. I brought my alto mouthpiece. I didn't bring my tenor one, so I was only able to try the alto saxophones.
Gotcha.
The booth, and then I went to Cannonball. And Lord behold, Gerald Albright was there. And I'm like, oh my God, I gotta tell Giant.
Craziest. I'm just sitting on my couch and I was like, why is Ladarius calling me?
Yeah. I talked to him for a little bit before I called because I didn't want to just like welcome to my friend. Yeah, so like I tried some saxophones, I played it nonchalant. It's just Gerald Albright. I'm gonna just I'm just playing his saxophones in front of him. No big.
Oh no!
Now, I remember one kid started playing one of his songs in front of him. I'm like, without like just he went off to the side where he was in. And he started playing one of Gerald Albright's songs. I'm like, you're so lame. Yeah. Like, and like Gerald Albright turned around. Like, hey, I'm like, look at this kid trying to like impress somebody. I'm like,
oh,
weird. But I found one of them was like, hey, I was like, I'm a big fan of yours, but I was like, I know someone who's a bigger fan, and I was like, if you don't mind, can I FaceTime him for like at least a good 5-10 minutes just to say hi? And he's like, yeah, of course, sure. And then that's when I FaceTimed you. And I still remember the face when was like, hey, Josh, like, here, I got to talk to you.
Oh, dude, I was flipping. I was like, wait, what just happened? And then I get that I didn't want to be rude and like screenshot it, and you see like I screenshot just did it. I should have just did it because then I'm texting everybody. I just freaking got off the phone with Joel Albright. I just got off the phone with Joel Albright. Nobody's actually believing me or anything, but I mean, oh my gosh, just crazy. And I think Gerald Albright is I'm such a huge fan of his because if you listen to any of his tracks, odds are he's the one that's playing most of the instruments on there. I mean, he's an incredible bass player, just as much as a saxophonist. So I mean, like more, I'm there for it. That's it.
Yeah. One of my favorite, I say one of my favorite songs he done on his album was the James Brown's what was that song?
Which album?
I don't. My mom's drawing a blank for some like yours earlier. She covered a James Brown song.
I like his cover of My.
I heard that one. That was a good
in on that one. And anytime he plays Georgia,
this is Man's World.
This is Man's World. Yeah.
When he hit that high note, like that, and then like I don't know the scale he used because it sounded the scale like some of the scale runs he did reminded me of Kenny Garrett. Something like that, like Middle Eastern kind of sound. Just like when he incorporated that into like a James Brown tune, I'm like, oh, yeah. It was like that's one of my most favorite saxophone covers.
Yeah,
like anybody, like I heard some great covers, but that was one that's always like I always mention. And then, but have you met anybody else saxophone famous wise? I don't know. It's not a question I had. Yeah.
Or
at least conversate with. I like tweeting.
Also, Branford Marsalis answered a tweet from me.
There you go. That counts.
It's kind of funny. I'm actually going to read it to you because I saved the screenshot. But it's actually really funny how he answered it. So here it is. Okay. So he posted, and this is May 12th, 2019. So this is a long time ago. And it was like during the middle of the night. I don't know why I was on Twitter. I was just there, and Branford posted 12 o'clock flight is 2 hours and 40 minutes late and counting, and will take 2 hours to get to where you're going. It means go straight to the venue, do not pass go, do not collect $200. I have no clue what that meant, but I just commented. I said, it be like that. And he answered, he replied, yes, it do.
Like you've been in situations before.
Even though we're not at that stage yet, I consider Quamon Fowler a mentor.
That dude's do everything. I've been watching some of his live videos.
Oh yeah, please, if you're looking for some other people to support, go support Quamon Fowler because I mean stuff he's doing. Being an independent artist, I mean, putting out all this stuff, and his albums are so good, and that dude plays such a good saxophone. I
love his too. Like I haven't found one who gets different to what he does.
He's really good. I'm studying with Brad Lely. I mean, he was in the bass band.
Brad Lely, man. Tell him I don't know if you remember me, but tell him I said hi.
I will.
Like I idolized that man in college when he came to TJC to do a jazz concert with us. That dude was so good. I forgot he was a teacher.
Yeah,
at USC.
He's very good. He's my private lesson professor, so I get to see him every week. And he's very hard. There's a reason he's that good. But he I studied with him, and for those of you who don't know, he played He's played lead alto in the Basie Band. He's played lead alto for Kerry Connick Jr. as for much. I mean, Sean Jones albums. So studied with him. I'm trying to think. I haven't really saxophone wise. I haven't met a lot of people, but I know and good friends with Wayne Bergeron, who's the LA First Call trumpet player. I mean, if you ever seen The Incredibles, Screaming High Trumpet, it's Wayne. I'm friends with the trumpet player Terrell Stafford, in Philadelphia. Tim Warfield Jr. is another saxophonist that I'm pretty close with. I've met Adam Larson before. Stockton Helbing, all these people. I actually got to do a Zoom call and ask a question to Wynton Marsalis last semester. So, yeah, that was pretty crazy. And actually, I was on a Zoom call with Chick Corea last semester as well. Yeah, rest in peace to Chick, man. That hurts, but that's pretty cool. But it was him and Tim Burton. Not Tim Burton. Gary Burton. I don't know why I said Tim Burton. Gary Burton. So I mean, I think the coolest thing is like I get to meet a lot of these rock stars, and I get to play with them and collaborate and everything. One of my classmates at UNT is June Lee. And June does transcriptions of Jacob Collier songs.
That dude's a beast. I've been watching him more lately. That dude's a complete beast.
But this guy, his name is June Lee, and he taught, my piano class last semester. And he's literally coming out with a book of transcriptions of Jacob Collier songs that he worked on with Jacob Collier. I mean, so like the amount of people that I'm meeting and I get to collaborate with it's unreal, But there's still just a few that I really want to meet in person. There's some of them. There's some people where it's like I want to meet.
Who's
Okay, I know I've talked with him before, but I would love to sit down and jam, talk, have dinner, anything with Gerald Albright. I'd love to do the same with Kirk Whalum. Just sit there and talk, get to know their things, maybe even take a lesson. I mean, I don't even care as long as it's more than just hey, let me get a picture with you. And then Marsalis. I mean, I've got to ask him a question, but I think everyone should want to sit down and talk with this man. He's so wise, just packed full of wisdom. And then the fact that dude name drops, and it's not even like a flex. Some people flex. When I play with him, I met him before. This dude is like, yeah, me and Miles used to get into it about that all the time. I was like, yeah.
It'd be like that.
I mean, dude, it's like, he's just name dropping. And, we think it's cool just to meet Branford Marsalis. Branford Marsalis is his brother. He's like, oh, Branford, yeah, we grew up together. It's whatever.
We grew up together.
Yeah. So, I mean, just those people, I love when people's music is incredible, but it's something more. It's a bigger deal when they're also really wise and they really have a lot of information that they could give you. Especially because apparently Joe Albright is from Texas, East
Texas.
Yeah,
I know. That's why I was like, another East Texas, jazz artist, like myself.
Yes, sir.
Not, trying to say I'm any good or anything, because I'm way below where I want to be. Yeah. But I've been making a pretty big name for myself around here.
Yeah, I've been seeing that. You got, 4,500 followers on Instagram, 7,000 followers on Facebook. Like, you're doing your thing, man. Yeah. I need to get on that. I need to.
I've been telling you your personal page. More. Like, to grow your Facebook page is so easy.
Yeah,
you have to find a name. Instagram's the hard one. Instagram is a really hard one.
It's hard, and that's the thing. Because my Facebook, I set a couple goals at the beginning of this year. I wanted Facebook to get 1,000 likes, and there I only have 730 right now. So I mean, I'm close. And then on Instagram, I want 2,000, and I mean, I'm setting the bar pretty low. That's only 700 more followers on Instagram, but like. Just making these goals for myself that no matter how small they are, just to try and get them up, because I mean I see you're doing it, and I know in the day and age we live in, we definitely have to, as musicians, have to know that
Exactly.
social media is a huge part of our lives.
Man, Steve Harvey said it best. He was like, if he had the amount of technology that we have today, when he was trying to grow up and be a comedian, he's like, he would have been well than where he had to come up. And I was like, man, we have access to so much stuff. Like, we're sitting here on a web camera, you know. I mean, we're both in Dallas area now, but still, like, able to talk to each other, and then we're able to post this content to, you know, everybody, and they're able to watch it. And I was like, it's easier than musicians had back in the day. What we have now. So, like, especially us being locked in the snow, I was like, do something. We need to do something. Like, that's why I did yesterday. I'm like, man, I need to do a cover, you know. And I got the time to do it. Like, my gig got canceled tonight. You know, I'm doing Miss With You. I probably do another cover after this. Like, we have to keep showing our faces on social media, because it tells people, okay, well, this guy's dependable. He's always going to be pushing content. Like, no matter if we have, you know, a couple views to 1,000, you know, one of my covers may get 2,000 something. One YouTube video might only get like 7 views, but it shows that, you know, they're dedicated and they're passionate about it. So those few people who do see you, they will stay fans, and then that's how you continue to build up your fan base. And then one day, you know, one video might pop off, but you know, but that's how you. Well, I would say that's how we have to do things.
Yeah,
and it's, I mean, talent has a lot to do with it, but really, these, you know, the old cliche of it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yep,
which is kind of true. Anyway,
I think it's very true. So,
I say true to the general audience. I say that because if you're associated with somebody, they okay, well, he's up there too, even though you might not be as up there as you think you are. You really are in general. It's just because, you know, you're associated or whatnot.
Yeah.
So, but look, we already had 38 minutes. I don't know how many questions on there. It's like 3.
Good conversation. Good conversation.
Well, actually, you did answer some of them already. Like what musicians you want to collaborate with, and so we're talking about on stage performances. So, describe your. I know you've been playing East Texas for a minute, but what is your favorite venue to play at?
Truvine Brewing Company, 150,000%.
Of course.
That place has come a long way. Let me tell you what.
Oh, I've been playing there longer. I know it's coming a long way.
I remember me and you and the man going in there, a stage. They didn't have a awning. They didn't have nothing. There was tables, chairs, a stage. You bring your own sound equipment. You ran your own sound. And I just played there with Covey a couple of weeks ago. And I came in, the entire stage was set up. I literally unpacked my horn, warmed up, and we played a gig. Like, we had monitors, there's subs under the stage, there's a great sound system, there's lights. It's amazing. And there's so nice people over there. They have really good pizza. They have really good beer. I mean, that has to be my absolute favorite place to play. Every time someone's like, "Hey, I'm playing at Truvine," I'm there. I'm there. That's out there. So,
but yeah. So, what is? Let's see. How do you play off a mistake?
How do you play off a mistake? It depends on how bad the mistake is. So. Let me just say this. Every mistake can be played off easily as long as it doesn't fall into the one category. Everyone knows it. So if somebody hires you to play happy birthday to somebody, let's not mess up. If you're a trumpet player and someone hires you to play taps, you really
I think taps is worse than happy because
Mike Capel, who is the trumpet player in East Texas, he plays taps. He hates it. Like he says, I'd rather not because it's just so much pressure, and it's an easy song, and that makes it even more pressure.
The pressure as this man. That's why I always I love playing Happy Birthday, but at the same time I'm like, all right. Sometimes sometimes I do mess up, so I don't mess up because I know how to play it, but sometimes I might not go to the ba ba da ba ba ba, especially ba 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 ba. Sometimes I might go up a half step or not a half step, but a step high. But I'll play it off and start improvising.
Yeah. You mess up, you throw a blues leg. Hey, I like what you did.
I meant to do that.
Yeah. That was all me. You like that?
Anybody can catch me. If any of y'all catch me. If I mess up, but then I start improvising over it, that's how I covered my mess up because I meant to do that. I'm not gonna play everything the original way. And this is what improv is for.
Yep.
I got a lot of when someone asked me to cover stuff. I'm like, that's how. Heather Minch at TJC, she's still the jazz band right there. Mm-hmm. She did teach me that you don't need to cover everything, note per note as a jazz musician, because especially the song y'all heard before, like Happy Birthday. I try not to. It's a song that's been played for years and years, and it's always good to have a little bit of freshness in there.
Yeah.
I remember, I don't know if I told you the story before. The first jazz solo, CJC, which I still play today, was when I fall in love. I had a leading tenor saxophone in that song when they, as a jazz band, whatever.
Yeah.
And the solo part, I was playing note per note, there was a written out solo, and I kept playing it. We had a couple practices. And she was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm playing what's written, I've been doing all these years. I was playing what's on the sheet music." She was like, "Well," it's you need to, play something different." And then I started getting taught about improv. But that's the first time I ever heard about improv. And but even though I've been doing it all these years, because I remember in high school, I get bored in band class with some of the easier marching band music and concert music. I'd be adding stuff. And I'd be getting in trouble because I'd be adding more to the music when I'm not supposed to be adding it. Mm-hmm. So all this long I've been doing this, but it's just I didn't know. Yeah, so that's one of the most valuable lessons I remember at TJC was actually learning how to improv and adding your own thing. Mm-hmm. I've been doing it ever since. I hardly cover anything note per note in my covers and stuff we do on stage.
Yeah,
anything. Even if we're playing Mr. Magic or something, I always. The chorus solo part I asked of, but even in the chorus at the beginning, and I always do something different because
and that's how it was intended. So
that's how it's intended to do. If I make a song and someone wants to cover it, I don't intend someone to do it the way I written it.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
And let me see. Let's go to my next question. We got a couple more minutes. I don't want to hold you too long. Okay, so another performance question. Okay. How do you handle if I know you play bass, saxophone, but you've never been really a leading spot, leading a band or whatever, unless you're in a jazz band or a solo. So just say instance for you, if you set up to do a solo and you don't see the crowd into it, is there something you do or how do you get the crowd more into the music? Or if they don't look as entertained, how do you get more involved?
Mm-hmm. This is a really good question because I think everyone has a different way of doing this, even if some of them are similar, and then B, every situation is different. And then exactly. You have to experience to learn. You can't be told exactly what to do. So let me say the advantage of being a saxophone player in a band like Covey, rather than how you're a saxophone player in your own band, is all night people hear saxophone from you. So it's like every time you play, what difference are you going to make to where they're not, I've already heard this before. And that's so hard. And I'm more props to you. You can get through a 3-hour set and not play just the song. Because let me tell you what.
I'm playing every song.
But we did an entire set in the key of E flat. And I sat there, and after about the third song, it's like, holy crap, I don't have anything else to play. I played everything I know in E flat. Let me say this. The advantage, the advantage of playing in a band like Covey is, say we're playing something really bluesy or really like just it feels a feel-good song. Tennessee Whiskey. We're playing Tennessee Whiskey. Mm-hmm. When everyone loves the song, everyone knows the song. There's no saxophone in the song, so it's something new. It's something different. If the people
actually there was saxophone in the original version,
really
a bit, because well, I mean, it was because Aretha Franklin wrote that song originally.
Oh,
so you don't know? Go back and listen to "I'd Rather Go Blind" by Aretha Franklin and tell me what's the difference. There is no difference.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Larry Sanders, for putting me on.
No, because when I cover people ask me to play Tennessee Whiskey all the time.
Oh yeah,
I don't play Tennessee Whiskey. I play the backing track for "I'd Rather Go Blind," and I just do half and half. I'll start off playing "I'd Rather Go Blind," and then I go to Tennessee Whiskey, and there's a horn line. Well, I think it's saxophone, trumpet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, still saxophone in the song, but it's more than just saxophone by itself. There's no saxophone solo, but
got you.
The original song, something told me it was over, and it's just like Tennessee. It's just the same. The lyrics are changed. Only thing he just changed it. Same key, everything. He just changed the lyrics and it sound country, but everything's the same.
Yeah. Well, so now that I know that's okay. Well, just go with me there on the.
Okay, I didn't get off subject, but continue.
No, you're. There's no saxophone. What people mostly know. So if people aren't into it, and this is as example, usually when we play that first do 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 bang, everyone's like, oh yeah. So everyone's usually into the song. But when I get to my part, everyone's already dancing. They've already heard a killer guitar solo. They've heard us breaking it down. Now I've put the bass down. What can I do different? The first thing I always do on that song, and people love it. And you hold out that note. And you add a little vibrato, and then you get that, and people are like, yeah, go for it. Stretching, holding out notes, that is the key. Huh?
I don't do that next time. The easiest thing, that's one of the easiest things to do.
It is, because as saxophonists, like sometimes we think what people want to hear is notes, but sometimes what people want to hear is just the saxophone.
Simple stuff.
Just the saxophone. Just play. And I've learned so many times that just relax, play, and give space. That's another thing too. Exactly. So after you play that one note, you cut it off, and it's like, okay, what are you gonna do next? What are you gonna do next? And then you play a bluesy
and that's it. That's my whole solo.
You put like it makes me that or something like that or something crazy. I like to go out of the key a little bit and then bring it back in and like a resolution. Yeah, on purpose, like really, and just really get people to. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I like manipulating stuff, anyways. Like especially with like pop music, because I'm not as big of a fan of it as most people are. But in order to, appease the audience, I should say, and appease myself at the same time, enjoy what I'm doing, I like to mess with things. So like I'll play a solo and I'll like incorporate giant steps changes, Coltrane changes on it. And like everyone's like, oh, that sounded super cool, but they have no clue that it's John Coltrane or something. So like I'm having fun, and then they're also getting what they want, you know. So
yeah, put jazz in anything and make it sound good.
yes.
That's why, like, I need to tell people they're not jazz fans, but I'm like, you are a jazz fan. I mean, like,
yeah,
jazz is in everything. It's in funk, you know.
All of it.
The Godfather of soul, you know, when he changed everything, put everything on the one. When, you know,
yep.
So people who don't say they don't like soul music or stuff like that, or these new, you know, guys. Like I asked this one guy, I was on Clubhouse, and they were talking about hip hop music, and one guy was like, I asked him, "Oh, you a hip hop head?" I'm like, yeah, you know, I listen to Lil Uzi Vert and Meek Mills. You know, yeah, I'm a hip hop. I'm like, you call that being a hip hop head? Like Meek, like, so he didn't even mention like anybody like Mos Def or like Tribe Called Quest or like any of those guys. Like that's being a hip hop head. Like,
yeah, all that.
And all them guys, all that you hear in like this when 90s started, that's James Brown. Yeah. Like everything, you know, that he made the hip hop beat.
He did all of that. And then he came from what they were doing with jazz. It's all connected, you know. The thing that I think is crazy though is like jazz is the only true American art form that was born and raised in America. And it's also an African American art form. And so is funk, and so is R&B, and so is hip hop. Like the lineage doesn't need to be broken. I think people think that like if they like jazz that they're old and outdated, but this music is still very relevant today. It really is. I mean, you can go back to old like 1920s Louis Armstrong and it might sound outdated, but these cats were still killing. And this is
and then when he goes to the 90s Miles Davis, and when he dropped Tutu.
Yep.
That was next level. Like, I think he's the only person. I mean, not the only person, but he's one of the most persons I admire changing his sound as a jazz musician throughout the years. You know. And I'm about to tell you something about a story. But I lost it. Like I had it. And I lost it. But I mean, jazz in general, like it's in everything. That's all I can say about it. But let's see. How would you describe your work ethic? And well, this is like two questions in one. How do you describe your work ethic, and how does your bandmates describe your work ethic? Like, on and off stage.
So I'd hope that they think I'm a hard worker because I try to work hard in everything. Everyone keeps telling me that what I'm doing isn't easy, as if I don't know. So if I'll say this, and I know you agree with this. Actually, Casey told me this. I told him I was dream chasing, and he said, "You're not dream chasing. You're too old to be dream chasing. What you're doing right now is you're completing goals. My dreams have now transitioned into goals, and so now I'm trying to complete these goals. It's not a dream. It's not. It's a goal chase right now. So my work ethic, like, there's some things like at UNT you have to practice. If your work ethic is bad and you just want to pass a class, you're going to practice at least 2 hours a day. I found myself every day I put in anywhere from 4 to 6 hours on the horn, just practicing different things. There's always something to practice. And I'm okay with that because that's what it's about, you know, and it's getting things done. You know, sometimes you'll have a late night. Sometimes you have an early morning. Sometimes you sleep 4 hours, and every time you're up, you got to be clicking. You got to be doing things. People that play with me, I hope they think I'm a hard worker. I'm a stickler for not only being on time, but being early. Every show I play at, I'm no later than 30 minutes early, no matter what I'm playing, how much of it I'm playing.
sometimes a day early.
Oh man, I knew you were gonna bring that up. Oh,
yeah.
gosh.
For everybody who doesn't know, he showed up actually to the gig a day early and asking where everybody's at.
I was so mad. Let me tell you, I was so mad. I was like, gosh, these guys aren't even on time. He said, be here at this time. Nobody's here. Nobody. I had set up my stuff. I was at Fresh with my stuff on the stage. I look around, nobody's here, so I call it Darius. I'm like, where you at? And he's like, I'm like, bro, you know we got a gig. He's like, the gig is tomorrow. I'm like, oh god. So now I have to do the walk of shame and go right up these steps to go get all my stuff and pack it up in the car.
I mean, actually, like, where's everybody else thinking? Like, they didn't want to tell you.
Nobody.
Like,
I was about to do a solo show. I should have did it. Maybe I would have made a little extra money that week.
Tips, man. I just want to know where everybody's going through us. Like, everybody's mind at that point.
Yeah.
Like, like, who is this tall black guy? Oh man.
But yeah,
I forget that.
My work ethic is shown that I'm a hard worker and I'm constantly trying to do things not only for myself but for other people. Like I really work hard for people, and to make sure that they're getting what they need done. And my thing is, if you work hard for me, I'm going to work hard for you. So if that's where it is, then I mean, there's very few people in this world that I will never say no to, but they know why I won't say no to them, if that makes sense. So
yeah, that makes good sense. Like there are some people like that for me too.
Yeah,
I try to do, especially people who hire me for performances. It's like, you don't have a set charge, and I told them, especially if they're kind, they're generous, they like my stuff, they follow me a lot, and I'm like, look, I'll charge you, less than I charge people, because I know time's hard right now. So like, I'm trying to charge what I used to, because I know COVID happened now. There's winter storm and stuff, and
yeah,
so I'm struggling too. So I'm like, well, we all struggle together. So
yeah,
I gotta,
the crazy about everything that's going on though is as soon as it's over, our business is going to literally explode.
And that's why I'm on it right now. So I'm doing these podcasts.
Yeah.
So,
because the first thing people are going to want to see is live music.
Exactly.
So
exactly. I booked the birthday performance just from doing a cover yesterday.
Really?
One of I say everybody who talks to me I'm friends with. So, but she's seen me play before, and I did a cover recently. But I haven't messaged her or talked to her in a minute. And he's, oh, you play for my 40th birthday. I'm like, well, I'm there. And, even it's in November, but I'm there. I put in my date, get the contracts away, the deposit, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So you never playing online and actually playing for shows that don't pay as well has gotten me performances and tips.
Yeah.
One things that I despise about East Texas, I try not to let it bother me no more, is like where some musicians they won't play because it's not to their budget.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many performances I played to not my budget, but ended up either making tips or gaining something from that.
Yeah,
and it's like I still play some shows for $100. I might do 3 hours, 3 hours. I do it for $100.
Mm-hmm.
But then some nights I make like $200 in tips, like from that night. So it's like, as a musician, like you missing out on what God might have for you,
mm-hmm.
even though you didn't know it. And to bring back before we wrap it up, it's always been an hour. Talking about your dreams, like basically had. I was like, I saw something that Jim Carrey said. It's like, instead of chasing your dreams, just start already acting like you're living that dream. Go ahead and he's like, hey, I'm gonna, do this. Like that's how he gains success. Instead of I'm gonna be at the comedy club. Go ahead and go up there. Go ahead and act like you're already there. Not act like I won't say act like you're there because you don't want to be fake, but like it's more what's the word he used? It's less stress to get your mindset that you're already there and trying to be there instead of just thinking that you're not there.
Exactly.
And trying to get there.
Yeah.
And that's what my mindset is. Like I know, of course, I know I'm not where I want to be, but I'm taking steps and have the mindset that not be there, but I'm getting close. I made accomplishments, and there's not accomplishments. That's what I mean to say. But like I look back on some stuff that I've done, and I look back, I'm like, man, I did that. Just one of these past gigs I did solo. I made more money than I thought I was in that one night as a solo artist. And a little bit of advice to everybody listening, or even to you. Like I went in, and I didn't get big headed, but I kind of did. I look back because
you broke up for a second.
No, I was like this. I guess it was God tapping me in my shoulder, like, "Hey, you need to get back in your regular mindset, or whatever. You're getting too big headed, or not big headed. It's just I was too focused on the money at that point. Because at this point, I mean, I've been successful over COVID. Like I've been having gigs every weekend. I've been in solo performances. I'm blessed to only work 2 days a week.
Yeah.
At Amazon, and then live off my money from my solo performances. And then of course occasionally band gigs, and which is I always thank God for that. Like, I remember I was the only person playing the weekend everything open back up back in May.
Yeah.
May 1st, May 2nd, I had back-to-back gigs in Los Pinos solo, and I made $500 plus dollars with tips off of that, and that carried me over. Because I was working. I was working, but like, I was still behind on bills. I was behind on insurance, so that helped me cover it. And this gig I had past week was something different. They just wanted me to play table to table, and I don't mind sharing this and sharing how much I made. I don't care, especially. Well, I do care sharing. I don't want to seem too big headed, like, oh, I made this much money,
Yeah.
But when I get advice and a story that where I messed up, I don't mind sharing it, because we do need to, I know you grew up in the church too, that, it's more of a testify, I guess, to say it's like, this is what I did, this is what happened, this is what you shouldn't do, And that's what most successful companies, business do. They focus when trying to teach somebody, they show you like, hey, this is what not to do. You already know what to do and what success look like, but here's the failures. Here's what this is what you need to look out for. So I went in, okay, they're going to pay me my regular, which they already pay me more than they pay any other artist there, solo wise. But they wanted me to play table to table instead of having my regular setup. Whatever. I'm like, okay, well, this is weird. I was like, if I'm playing table to table, and my first thought was tips, which shouldn't have been that. Because if I'm walking around, I don't have a tip jar, whatever. Because I make good money on tips, and I was like, whoa, wait, man. So I think in my mind, well, I should charge the venue more because, or like ask for more, because I'm thinking I'm not gonna make that much tips.
Yeah,
which is completely dumb on my part. Not knowing I'm playing for lawyers, doctors, when I'm going to these tables, accountants. I'm going to share it. I don't think I should, because this is what the podcast content's for. Like, I want this exclusive stuff to be real, and I want people to draw into this.
Yeah.
One, I got tipped $100 each from 3 different people that night. Wow. One guy paid me $100 just to follow him around Los Pinos. Like, literally, just play saxophone and follow him around. They're all drunk, of course. He was some doctor. Drunk. But no, I literally, like, he's like, here's $100. I want you to follow me around everywhere and just play. And I'm like, okay. I do that. And then I only did it for like maybe 15, 20 minutes. But like 2 other people, they tipped me $100. And like, and that's just 3 people. Like, other people tipped me too. But in my mind, before that, I was like, man, these people ain't gonna like, but I didn't know who I was playing to at first. I didn't know they were like Like someone tipped me like $40 to learn a song that they wanted to prank somebody else with. It's like, hey, I manage his account. Like I'm his accountant, and they showed up together without their wives. So I want you to play this song that's kind of on the queer side for him, and then showed him the song, like stuff like that. So I did it, and then showed him. It was funny in the end because the guy turned red when he realized what song it was. It was some Billie Eilish song, but I didn't play it note per note. Like I was like, I like learned like the main part and then improv the rest. And I'm like, you know, and everybody putting my saxophone skills to the test because I didn't have no backing tracks or anything. And I was like, how am I gonna put this off? So basically I put earphones in my ear. So the backing tracks are playing, but I'm just, you know, playing saxophone, whatever, because I haven't been in that situation in a while where I'm playing without, you know, accompaniment.
Yeah.
Or anything. And at the end of the night, you know, I went table to table. They went outside, went inside. I met a lot of people. This one guy had stopped and talked to me. To my, what do you see? I'm like, I see a bunch of people. So man, you see, you talking about, what did I see? I told him I saw a bunch of people. And so what you should be seeing is clients. You should have people to network with. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So at the end of the night, I made like almost twice as what Los Pinos was paying me. So I ended up taking home like $800+ in like one night. And I was sitting there like, all right, guys, I'm listening now. I'm listening now. So sometimes you can get blessed, but then when you get blessed, it's like a lesson learned at the same time. All right, I know I messed up. You know, let me go, you know, reconfigure what I'm doing. You know, so that's why I had posted like earlier on Facebook. If you were given to God, like, hey, this is what you need to do to be successful. Are you able to do it? Like, are you able to take those steps?
Yep.
And it shows you, like, you know, most people try to take the easy way out of stuff. Like I always say, the genie thing, Aladdin. I love Aladdin. Love Robin Williams. And you know, Aladdin is trying to take the easy way out by the wishes. And you can picture maybe the genie being the devil, and you know, reality being, you know, God, like working hard to get what you need.
Yeah.
But you can always take the easy way out. There's always easy. Like I say it all the time, where people are, you know, doing stuff to go viral. They're doing the stupid, like the girl with the glue in her hair. She had to do that to like to gain attention. And no, she got what? She got a GoFundMe page.
Yeah.
People paid. She got it worked. So even though it looks like she did it on like an accident, but played it. She did it for attention. And you can do stuff, put herself, you know, to get closer to where we want to be, but at what cost? You know, same wishes. You know, he wished for all that stuff, but then it wasn't. I mean, he got what he wanted, but it wasn't what he wanted. Where if we work hard and we grind it out, you know, God will give us what we need.
Yeah.
You know, what we wish for. It's like, I know you understand that too when you want to go to your dream college. It's like what we want might not what we need in the end. You know?
Yeah.
So that's why I posted that earlier. I feel like, man, it's like if someone gave you a list of things that you need to do to get where you need to be, would you do it? If you didn't know about that, if you didn't know, because most people are like, I'm not going to do that. You know, I'm going to do this, but then you end up going the wrong direction.
Yeah.
So, like my mindset for this, I guess for this month, because I try to learn, you know, more advice and watch. You know, go watch Oprah sometimes, Steve Harvey, Jeff Bezos, like their advice speeches. Entrepreneur, you know, guidance ship is like, you can't take the easy way out. I mean, you can, but it's not going to lead you where you need to be in the end.
Yeah.
So that's some advice. Everybody who's watching, we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. I still got questions I haven't even asked yet and things I wanted to talk about, but we don't always say that for another date.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Yeah, I mean, we ain't got to talk about, you know, just no more stuff. We can just talk about music in general. You know?
Exactly.
So before we get here, go ahead and give everybody your
Oh,
Instagram,
cool.
Facebook.
Yeah. So you can pretty much find me at G Boykin Music. That's GBOYKIN Music. Pretty much everywhere. My website is giantboykinmusic.com. That's giant and then BOYKIN music.com. And then same thing for my YouTube. But if you type that in on any social media, my name should come up. G Boykin Music should bring up what you need. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. And then for all of you who are watching either on Patreon, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, you know I do this constantly. So the easiest way to find me, I would say go to Instagram, Lodi_music, because someone took Lodi music for some reason. But it's actually, they took loud music. Now you spelled it with a W. So it's loud music for them. I was like, man,
Yuck.
just weird. But I have a link tree. And under that link tree, you can find all my stuff. You can find my Patreon links, my Spotify. Man, I'm on everything, Giant. Like I'm on Spotify, Apple Music. We got original music out. We have a cover of Ain't No Sunshine.
Yes.
Ocean Breeze out. I'm finna release this Fever song as soon as he writes it. We're on it. I do podcasts. I try to do a podcast every week, either exclusive in my regular one, or at least maybe one week to one the other week if I don't get a chance to do it. Like this week, past week, I didn't get to do an actual podcast, but I done 2 exclusive ones. You know, one with Riley, and he was so fun. That dude is amazing. I don't know if you know who he is. He's
I saw the thing you posted about it.
Yeah, he is. I don't know about now. I have to check the Billboard charts, but he's still for at least 2 or 3 weeks, has the #1 smooth jazz song on the Billboard charts. And that song is good. Now check it out. I haven't listened to it.
Yeah,
Especially. But yeah, my link tree on Instagram, you can find everything. And please subscribe to Patreon. I'm going to change my saxophone covers and my saxophone cover audios to $2 a month. So I've been trying to learn this Patreon thing more, and I went last night and try to look at what other successful musicians are doing, and that's one thing I'm going to change. I don't change it to 2, but just limit the content to those things, because I know one thing people have been asking me. The reason why I started Patreon, for everybody who know what that is, it's a app on your phone you can get. And you can post, I post all my content on there, and you can chat with me. You can ask questions. You can watch. I can post audios. And the reason I love it, because I have the money to just keep, releasing covers. We did Ain't No Sunshine cover, but that was a remake. That was music remake. So I was able to release it and attach, royalties to it, so I can gain some of the income. But some of these backing tracks I play to, I can't do that because that's not my original audio that I recreated in the studio.
Yeah.
So what I do is I get these tracks that everybody been asking for to me to release cover-wise, is I put them on Patreon. And that way people can pay my monthly subscription. They have access to all those covers that I did. So it's basically like a loophole that no one's found out about what I'm doing yet. But that's what I'm doing. So that's the one way you can access all my covers, all my full covers. I'm releasing there weekly. You can catch some of my old live performances there, and you can catch the Truvine show that we're doing on 27. I'm live streaming that completely on Patreon. And I'm start giving lessons if someone subscribes to the higher tiers. You can get free merch if you with me for a year, 4 times a year. Man, I'm just trying to do so much on this platform. Of course, this is available on the $5 subscription, which is if you get the $5 a month, you get exclusive content with me, interviewing different musicians and stuff like that. But this one's a free one because I'm trying to push it more, but next week won't. So if you enjoy this, if you enjoy East Texas musicians or Dallas musicians or whoever I interview, and hey, one day I may interview someone famous. I did kind of. Raleigh to me is famous because he's on the Billboard charts, so that was considered to me someone's up there, even though he was a good friend of mine before that.
Yeah.
On Facebook, I love to bring more people on here, regardless of who they are. Man, my cousin wants to come on here, and he's a boxer, and boxing is kind of an art in a way. So it don't matter, because at first I wanted just to be musicians, but then as I went on doing these things, like, man, anybody with a passion,
Yeah.
I want to talk about it, because everybody has their regular 9 to 5, but like, what's your dream? What's your goal? And I want to make a platform people can come on here and talk about it. So
There you go.
Go ahead and wrap that up. Please subscribe, and we'll see y'all next week. I think I'm going to have either I need to message Mason because he's supposed to, but I think he forgot about it. And but guess what? To find all that out, just follow us. And but thank you, Giant, for being on here. I don't know if 10 o'clock was kind of early for you or not.
No, I'm usually up. I was making sure. I'm a huge morning person, so
yeah. But we'll go ahead and end this live, and remember, stay sexy, y'all. Peace.
Cool.